Thank you for agreeing to do this.
Oh, sure. No, it sounded so fun, and I really enjoyed meeting you as well.
Me too. So tell us who you are and where do you practice?
So my name is Jennifer Lyday, and I am a Chapter 11 practitioner down in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, been a member of IWIRC for a long time.
And what's the name of your firm?
So I am with Waldrip, Babcock, and Bailey,
Okay.
and we are I'd say a boutique firm. We have an office in Winston-Salem and an office in Raleigh. We
Uh-huh.
have a very strong insolvency practice. We have about 5 partners that do insolvency, but we've also got some litigators, transactional lawyers, healthcare lawyers. So I actually started at Womble Bond Dickinson back in 2009, and then my partner and I started our own firm and then
Okay.
merged with another small firm. So now we're about 16 lawyers, 16, 17 lawyers.
How long did you have your own firm?
So we were out from 2016 to 2020. I mean, I guess I still have my own firm in the sense that I'm one of the partners, but
Yes. Okay. And it was just the two of you, and then you sort of
we
merged.
had we had we had we started with 3 partners in 2016, and then grew a little bit before merging with the other firm.
Okay. Awesome. Um, and now you said a boutique practice. Is it a business law boutique? So what are the other
I
practice
Yeah.
areas?
So yeah, I would say focusing on business law,
Mhm.
corporate law, transactional law, with an industry focus of healthcare. Jim Wall, one of our named partners, represents a lot of providers. His wife is actually a physician here in Winston-Salem, so he
Mhm.
represents a lot of providers. We've taken a lot of healthcare entities through bankruptcy,
Mhm.
so that's kind of a special area, but we're in North Carolina, so we do whatever comes in the door. We love our debtor practice, our committee practice, trustee practice, but we also represent creditors, just not the really big banks because we don't like those conflicts.
Yeah. So, what if you had to articulate an industry focus, would it be healthcare and what other industries?
So healthcare, I also love agriculture. I love taking debtors through Chapter 12s. I love my farmer clients.
Mhm.
They are just such good clients, and they're so appreciative of the help that you can give them. Often they're facing the loss of their ancestral homeland. And you can really make a huge difference in their lives by helping them through the Chapter 12 process. So we've done that, manufacturing, but really other than I'd say healthcare, we're industry agnostic.
Mhm. So, where did you go undergrad and law school, and what did you study?
So I went to Wake Forest, which brought me originally to Winston-Salem. I'm from West Virginia, as you know, Charleston, West Virginia, but
What
came
high school?
down
What high school?
George Washington.
Okay.
Yeah, George Washington, and went to Wake Forest and studied Spanish and political science. So I was
Okay.
one of those like, I'm probably going to go to law school so I can, major in whatever I want and not be
Yeah.
too worried about making a living someday.
Yeah.
But I loved Spanish. I studied abroad in Spain and Chile. So travel is,
Mhm.
is always fun, and I love the Spanish literature. And then I did a lot of like Latin American politics. That was some of my interesting things in the political science area. And then I went to William and Mary Law School in Williamsburg, Virginia, after graduating from Wake.
And how did you get into bankruptcy work?
So I actually had no clue going to law school I wanted to do bankruptcy. But I interned at a big firm in Charleston, West Virginia after my first year, Jackson and Kelly. And there was an attorney there, Michelle Tysiak, who was
Oh,
a,
I also know.
yeah,
Yes, is a friend of mine. Mhm.
and she was a bankruptcy attorney, had been in the U.S. trustee's office in West Virginia, and she made no secret of the fact that she thought that bankruptcy was the best practice area and the best practice area for women specifically. So I've
Great.
shadowed her really for the summer, and fell in love with the practice. And when I went back to L-Year, I said, I want to be a bankruptcy attorney. So I started taking the secured transactions classes and the bankruptcy classes, and kind of the rest is history. But it was really that exposure to the practice area as a 1L that gave me that bug.
Interesting. Can you hold on? I'm going to pause the recording. Hold on one second. Sorry. Okay. So Michelle said this was great for women. I'm wondering what made you think that?
You know, at the time, I think she was thinking that there were at the time. So this is this is the early 2000s. There were a lot of women that were practicing bankruptcy law where she was, and that wasn't necessarily the case in some of the other kind of federal litigation practices.
Yeah.
So I think that was what she was thinking. Also, that there were probably more bankruptcy female judges than other district court judges.
Yes.
So we could really see ourselves in the practice of law. She was I think, a big member of IWIRC at the time as well. And so the fact that there are these professional organizations dedicated to the promotion of women, specifically in the restructuring and insolvency space, I don't know that exists in a lot of other practice areas. So, and then just beyond that, the idea that this is a sophisticated federal court practice that's code-based, it's very interesting, good work that really involves every area of the law. I tell young associates now, bankruptcy is really just a federal court insolvency overlay onto state court rights. And they could be state court rights in everything: family law, wills and trusts, property law, secured transactions, contract law. And so you have to know all those other areas of the law and have the bankruptcy or insolvency filter on top. So it's always something new, always a new industry to learn. So I think all those things were reasons why she loved it and reasons why I still love it today.
I love that. It's very well said. When I first started too, so this, I think we're actually the same age. I'm not sure, but it was 1999 in Wilmington, Delaware, and Judge Mary Waldrip, she was the chief judge at the bankruptcy court in Wilmington, Delaware. Like, I love watching. I actually saw her at the IWIRC conference. Did you see her? I loved the fact that she was the boss of that whole dynamic, these really sophisticated cases. And you're right. Like, I saw women oral arguments. They were leading the Chapter 11 cases in Wilmington. I love this whole vibe. I did fall in love with it. It's interesting. My next question has to do with your involvement in IWIRC, but I think you and I discussed, like, I actually started the West Virginia chapter of IWIRC. Yeah. I told you, which I was passionate about. But I was practicing in Pittsburgh, but as you know, I'm from West Virginia. And so that was cool to be able to do that. That was like 18 years ago. Tell me about your involvement in IWIRC. What chapter are you involved in, and in what capacity?
Oh, sure. I am involved in the Carolinas network. So it's really North and South Carolina. We do things together. I have been on the board and involved probably since like 2009, 2010. And I don't really have necessarily a specific role at the moment on the local board. I'm the co-chair of the Membership Services Committee of the National IWIRC board. But in North Carolina, I actually got really involved because of another prominent female practitioner in the area. I was working with Julie Pape in Winston-Salem at Womble, and she was the one who got me involved in IWIRC at the local level. She had been the chair of the group for some time. But yeah, it was just early on a great way to make professional connections across North Carolina and across the country and now across the world. And so I've been very, very happy to have been a part of IWIRC all these years.
Very cool. I love that. Tell me about one of your ideal clients.
Ooh. So I hinted a little bit about this earlier with my love of the farmers. So I love a lot of the farmers I've worked with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've thought about why that is. They are often not very sophisticated business folks, especially kind of in the smaller cases that I work on in North Carolina. But they are honest as the day is long, and they are trustworthy. Yes. In this field, that is very important. They are full of integrity. Their handshake is their word. And so they are just lovely to deal with. But then they also really respect what you say as the expert in this field. They're not trying to, they don't have their own agenda other than doing whatever they can to save their land and to save their farms and to save their businesses. And they will really look to you to provide that guidance. And I just feel like I haven't had to, fight with my own client. In those cases where, I have done a little bit of that. In other cases, I'm always like, help me, help you.
Yeah.
I can do this for you if you just kind of listen to me and let me know, and work with me here. And farmers often will bring you an apple pie randomly just because they, they have one.
I love that. Do you have a favorite memory or favorite client engagement that comes to mind?
So other than receiving an apple pie from my farmer client, which is the real story, it probably working on the Chapter 11 debtor case of a hospital here in North Carolina, because hospital cases are so important, especially with rural healthcare, which is what we deal with here in North Carolina. When you can help stabilize a hospital for the good of the community. Because when you work on these cases, you realize it's not just about the health of the community, the physical health of the people in the community. It's really about the economic vibrancy of the entire community. I mean, these hospitals in these counties are the number one employer by far in many of the counties in North Carolina. And so if you can help stabilize that for future generations, you're really kind of keeping communities alive. And so those are some of the most meaningful cases I've worked on. I think you muted yourself.
Sorry. I knew I was going to love this interview, by the way. What do you do in your spare time?
So I love to be outdoors. I love to hike. I love to run. Any horseback ride, all of those things. Mountain biking. Love being outside. I love to go to church and do all kinds of, work with my church, work on boards for them, and also just, attending services, and read. I love to read. I'll read anything and everything. I love being in book clubs. And in IWIRC, I actually started a literary society. So we meet every couple of months virtually. So that's been really fun. In fact, we have one on Thursday at 7 p.m.
Nationally, internationally?
Yeah, whoever wants to join. Yeah.
Okay, tell us something not everyone knows about you.
Let's see. So a lot of people know this, and we discussed it when we met the other day, but I am an adoptive mother, as well as a biological mother. So I adopted 2 kids from the foster care system back in 2014. And so I am a huge supporter of adoption, and especially adoption from foster care. So that's been a real joy. And it's funny, not everybody knows that, because, my kids do actually look a good deal like my husband and I. And so not everybody, can tell that they're adopted, but that's something that I just always like people to know. And my kids are very open about it as well, mainly because I want to normalize it and make people feel comfortable about asking me if they're interested about adopting. Because, it is as you know, it's a very daunting process if you don't have anybody kind of walking you through and talking to you about it.
I love that we share that. It's cooperative.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell me, how old are they? How old are all of your kids?
So my two oldest kids, which we adopted, are now 17 and 15.
Okay.
So I've got the two teens, and then my baby is about to turn 7.
Okay.
So she's in first grade.
Uh,
And it was so cute yesterday. They were just, I had my 15-year-old boy, and he was sitting in this big recliner with my 7-year-old. They're like watching TV.
I forgot what
I've ever seen.
you have the 10-year age gaps. The
Yes.
you have 18 and 8.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Do you have advice for business clients who may be in distress?
I do. And you can tell the types of companies I work with mostly with this advice. Do not take out merchant cash advance loans or high interest loans of any sort. That will only make your situation worse. And then if you've done that, do not then double down and do one of these credit or debt reconciliation, debt settlement agreement with companies that are not attorneys, are not insolvency practitioners, and really just are stealing your money again. And then the third thing I would say is you haven't come to me too soon. You can't come to an insolvency practitioner when you're out of cash. You need to come long before you take out the MCA loans, long before you really need them. When you see difficulty on the horizon, when you see financial difficulty of any sort on the distant horizon, you have more options. It's going to be easier, less expensive if you can kind of tackle those problems before they become problems.
Absolutely. I think that's great advice. What about for creditors?
So I would say first, do no harm is my big advice. Because a lot of times creditors will get in trouble when they don't follow the rules to a T, right? So the rules are there to protect the borrower. I'm kind of talking right now about a situation where a commercial lender went through kind of a shortcut. They were taking over a piece of property following a foreclosure. And in North Carolina, there are rules about going through the eviction process post foreclosure if there's not a voluntary agreement to, give back the property. And if you shortcut that, you can find yourself as the defendant in litigation. So being very cognizant of the rules when you're exercising your state law rights is very important. In addition, just to the, underwriting that you do in the beginning of a deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent advice. Okay. Now we've got the 10 rapid fire questions. After you got your law school, you said William and Mary.
That's right.
Your favorite Netflix show, if you have one?
Gilmore Girls.
Really? I see there's a resurgence in that lately, I think, right?
There is. I'm one of those comfort watchers of the Gilmore Girls. If they ever take Gilmore Girls off of Netflix, I think I'm going to have to cry. I'll have to find another comfort show.
Favorite movie?
The Princess Bride.
Okay. Best vacation?
I just had it this past summer. I went with a good friend of mine to Spain, and we hiked for about a week on the Camino. And it was
Do we have
gorgeous.
parallel lives?
I think so.
Yeah, adopted kid, bankruptcy lawyer, Michelle Dysiak, Spain, football.
That's right. So, we did the Portuguese route. So my friend started in Porto, Portugal. I met her in Vigo, Spain, and did the last I think we did about 5 days hiking up to Santiago de Compostela, which is where the relics of St. James are. And so That was just a great, I had wanted to do it ever since I studied abroad in Spain, and to actually get to do it was so
Do you
fun.
speak Spanish?
Yes, my friend is fluent because she's of Cuban descent.
Mm,
I am, you know, fluent in the sense of I studied Spanish
yeah,
25 years ago, but I can still get around.
I love it. Okay, favorite dessert?
Apple pie.
Me too. Best gift ever?
So, when I was in law school, the Amazon Kindle came out for the first time. So I
Yeah,
love to read. And, back then it was so expensive. It was like $300, and we were all broke college students. And I had
yeah.
just gotten married. And like four of my friends and my husband pooled their money together to buy me my first Amazon Kindle. So I was an early adopter of e-reading. And the idea of being able to have hundreds of books in my pocket at any time is just, I've never ceased being excited about that. So that was probably my favorite gift.
That's awesome. Last song you listen to on your iPhone?
Okay, this is probably something else that no one knows about me. I am a big fan of Christian hardcore.
Okay.
And so there's a band called Holy Name.
Uh-huh.
Um, and they have a song that it's called Stained Glass. And so that was the last thing that I listened to this morning. But yeah, Christian metal.
I love it. I love it. It's very cool. I have to look it up. Last podcast you listened to?
So this morning, every Monday, I listen to Currently Reading, which
Hmm.
is a podcast just dedicated to, what the two hosts are reading right now. So
Hmm.
every Monday they give their kind of three picks of what they're reading, backlist, frontlist, everything in between. They do a bookish deep dive, and just a way to keep on knowing what's going on in the book world.
I love it. Do you have a pet?
I have many pets.
Okay.
So my husband and I we live outside of Winston-Salem, about 30 minutes outside of the city. We've got about 21 acres. And so we have two Great Pyrenees.
Hmm.
We have about five cats. It changes. It's a fluctuating number. Um, and we have five chickens. That's also a fluctuating number because it's hard to keep chickens alive. But right now we have five. And we also have a horse named Blue and a donkey, a mini donkey named Jed.
Oh my gosh,
So,
that's so cute. I love all that. And the last question, best city ever visited?
so actually London.
Mhm.
Um, I went to London with the IWIRC leadership conference like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
And I had never been to London. And I was like, this is the best city in the world. So easy to get around. The people were great. So many things to do. I want to go back.
I love it. Stop. Yeah.